Sandy Says Read. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do the 3 key book tag. I saw this over at Jessie the Reader's channel and I thought it was awesome. So we're just going to jump right in and do that. The first key is the Sprig of Youth key. And I want to talk about a book from my youth called The Mouse and the Motorcycle by Beverly Cleary. When I was a little girl, I read this one again and again and again because I loved it. Look, it cost $1.75. Like back in the 70s, you could buy a big old book for $1.75. This was an awesome book. I loved this. I loved the little mouse who could make the motorcycle go just by going vroom, vroom. It was an awesome story. Just a nice little story about, this kid who had to live in a hotel where his mom worked. It just had a neat little story and a neat message to it about this kid getting to, make friends with a mouse. And it was just wonderful. It was just a good, wholesome book, and I liked reading it. And, when I was, in the 70s, when I was very young, my family didn't have a lot of money, and we moved a lot. So when I got a book, and I get to have a book of my own, I hung on to it, and it became like a friend, if you know what I mean. And this was one of those from my UK. Now, the next key is the adult key. What book did I read that kind of ushered me into adult reading, or when did I know that I was ready to embark on adult books? And really, I don't know that there was one specific book. So I haven't picked one specific book out to show you guys and share with you. There were so many books that I used to read because when I was in, I would say, junior high and into high school, I would visit with my great-grandmother, and she had an apartment stacked with books. She had, she had stacks of books next to the chair where she would sit to watch television or do her crocheting and knitting and work like that. And she would have books there as well. So when she was tired of knitting, she would pick up a book and read it. So I would go to her apartment and see all these books available to read. And I could read any one of them I wanted to. She was fine, happy to have me read. And I picked up, a couple from her that I, took back home with me to read, and I would have them with me at school. And as everybody knows, junior high school students are just horrible to one another. I mean, people are so mean. Kids are so mean. And I remember being in school, and I was reading a book. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember it had like a paranormal feel to it. This lady was being pursued by a demon, okay? And there was a scene in this book that was very naughty, very raunchy. So I guess that was an adult book at that time. And I was embarrassed to be reading that scene because, I was only, junior high. It was like, 8th grade, 7th grade. So I was kind of skimming past that part because it was so naughty. But a friend of mine, noticed me reading this book and was taunting me about it and making fun of me because there was naughtiness in this book. And she grabbed this book and was showing it to the teacher and, saying in front of the whole class that I was a terrible person because I was reading this book that had sex in it. And that, I think, is when I realized I could read whatever I wanted to read. Of course, I was going to have to do it in privacy, and I couldn't take books to school anymore because people were going to taunt me and make fun of me for everything else, but including now reading books. So I think that an adult book for me was pretty much anything I was reading in junior high. I knew then that I was, I could read anything I wanted to. I just had to do it, on the sly where people weren't going to notice and make fun of me. All right, next up in the 3 key book challenge is what you're going to enjoy into old age. Here's the key for old age. My old age book is going to be, and this shouldn't surprise anyone, is going to be Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I, of course, love Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, And I think that when I am older and when I, finally succumb to Alzheimer's or senility or both, and I can no longer remember things very well, I think I will be delighted again by Jane Eyre. I think that when I get to, the twist in Jane Eyre, I think I will be just captivated by it all over again. And if there's something to look forward to in the horror that is Alzheimer's, it'll be that. I'm looking forward to reading Jane Eyre again and again and again when I get old and gray and senile and crazy and I'm sitting alone in some old folks home by myself. I will read Jane Eyre again and again and again. So I'm going to enjoy this one into my old age. And that's the 3 key book challenge for me. I invite you guys to share below, in the comments below. Share with me, what are the 3 key books in your life from your youth, from when you were entering adulthood, and as you grow old, what are you going to enjoy reading again when you're older? That you'll just, and maybe not so much that you're going to forget it and then want to reread it, but seriously, as you grow into old age, what are you going to want to read again and again and again? Share with me in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel so that you'll be updated when I post something new. Thank you so much.